Looking around like you lost something.
Brought to you by CarMax. Hello.
Hey, everybody! It's Louie. What is it? 13. We
That
have
is,
completed week 12 and going into 13. Fantasy wise, this would be the last week in tradition and back in the day, but ever since the league
yeah.
switched to a 17 game season, now it goes into week 14. So this, as Scott Hansen would say, is the witching hour for
Sure is.
whatever. You got 2 weeks to secure anything, or 2 weeks to just be a piece of shit like me and just play. So you got like these 2 weeks. Definitely, you got those people that are sitting because usually most leagues got 6 playoff spots, and usually those top 3 or 4 are secured. They're locked, and
Yeah.
then people are battling for that fifth and sixth spot. So these are critical. The witching hour of the
Yeah.
fantasy league, for
And
sure.
you know what? And to be fully honest, I am like astounded that. Well, you know what? I think you were going with your no hope feel because I was sitting here like, I'm not even going to say much because it was not a close contest between me
Oh
and you.
no, you gave me a straight 100 whopping. I was like, man, I can't even get to 200. But I'm at the bottom of the league where I deserve to be. When you don't score no points, I
That
am the
was
Pittsburgh
crazy.
Steelers. I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers of this fantasy league, where I was an imposter. I was sneaking by teams, and I had a good winning record. And at some point, I was 5-3. No,
You were
yeah,
you were in
five
you
and
were in
three,
first
and I
at
just
some
lost
point, weren't
four
you?
straight, and I'm 5-7 now. So I was the Steelers. I was getting by with some type of hope and bullshit, and I wasn't scoring. Still ain't scoring. So like to me, getting to 200 is like a fucking yay moment. Like wow, I got to 200. I haven't even sniffed past. I don't even think I got past 250 this year. Nope.
I think our first matchup you did. I think you had like 265 or 270.
Well, that's probably when I was healthy and I had everybody, and yeah,
Yeah.
maybe those first 2 weeks before Chubb went down, and yeah, maybe those first. If it would have been, it would have been in those first 2 or 3 weeks. Because after that, either injuries or just dumb shit that I've done. I am the Pittsburgh Steelers of dirty punt.
Are you are you out of it now? Would you say that you have?
Oh,
Are you?
absolutely. Like
Yeah.
even if I win the next two and I become 7-7, my points are so low that anybody that's the same record as me is going to beat me. End of that story. So, yep,
Let's see.
it's over.
Let's see something here. I'm curious. So, well, I mean, look, here's what's crazy. I mean, and I don't mean to like interject hope here, but literally 5 through 10.
I
Um,
know. I ain't never seen a
of
league with this much parity in it where everybody is at the is got the same
yeah,
record at the bottom. That's
five
crazy.
5 through 10 is 5 and 7. So I mean,
That's
and
crazy.
I unfortunately you are at the bottom of the totem pole with the points, but and you're not like incredibly close.
No, like I
Yeah,
said, I haven't
that's
games I've won. I've won less than 200 or maybe a little over 200. I haven't scored this year. I just
I'm
had a
just
problem scoring.
I'm just looking at this. I've scored 700 more than you. What the
Yeah,
fuck? Jesus. All right.
scoring at all. So
Uh,
that
Well,
is what
I
it is.
so you're not actually out of it yet. I mean, realistically, you could sneak in. I
No,
mean,
I mean out of those 5 teams that's 5-7, I don't know if they play each other or something like that. But even if two teams were left standing at 7-7, I'm going to lose by the points unless somehow I score a whole bunch of points in the process of the 2 wins I get.
Well, I know that I face 2 of those 5-7 teams over the next 2 weeks. So there's that. So I did clinch a spot this week, and
I didn't even see. So the clinches was there. Like I mean, like I said,
yeah.
I used to check it like 100 times, but today I'll be totally honest. I checked it on the shitter right before I fucking
I
came.
mean, yeah,
I don't even look at it anymore. I don't read
yeah.
the blurbs or nothing. I just skip right through it because I'm sleepwalking through the rest of it pretty much. It has
Well,
not been an enjoyable experience.
yeah, no one likes to lose, especially people like us that are incredibly
Obsessed
competitive.
with
Yeah.
it.
I mean, and it's weird because like we've always had like a friendly rivalry, but
Oh, yeah.
it's weird because there's always like an
Actually, got to pick my
unconscious.
shirt on today.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
It's like I'm always worried to play you because even though it's luck and luck of the draw and whatever, you always seem to play me hard. And I say that like you're
You
fucking.
kept, yeah, like on Thanksgiving when we sitting up there watching, you're like getting upset and you thinking that you really. I'm looking at you like, do you really think I got a shot? Like, are you you really somehow was still a little fearful? And I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is wrong with you?
because
That's like
you
me
have.
knocking on your door with a stick in my hand, like, give me all the money, and you got a gun in your hand, and you like, he might somehow still take me. You got
Yeah,
a gun.
poke me in the eye. But it's a weird feeling because I'm mildly happy I don't have to deal with you in the playoffs potentially, but I'm also like, ah,
He said, "Oh,
but I'm also like, oh shit, my friend isn't doing well. Doesn't make it enjoyable. So it's like a weird uh, angel and devil. But I will
well,
say before we,
I'm gonna go full speed ahead in them consies. Tell you that.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
be treating them shits like,
you did
yeah.
see
You
my
put that
blurb I put
announcement
up.
out to everybody that, yeah, you
Yeah,
better play for them fucking consies.
yeah. Because I wanted to, and this is the time of the year, and any managers or
Yeah, if you
uh,
wait till the last week, they'll try to say, "Well, I didn't know. I stopped paying attention." Yeah, tell them while it's still active,
mm-hmm.
you have no excuse to say that you didn't know. Blah blah blah.
and any other commissioners out there, yeah, take heed of that. Put it out there. Do something for your consolation bracket. Make it interesting.
I tried to do
And
that in Andrew's league, and he was just like, "Nah, man, I don't think we're gonna do that." I was like, "Okay, man, you got." He was like, "No, what did he say?" He basically brushed me off like I'm the only one that go hard in the con season. I'm like, "Okay, you got people will continue to pay attention if they knew that first kid." He's like, "We don't want to award the first pick to somebody that something like that, somebody that shitted." Basically, they don't want to award mediocrity. But then you want to turn around and get a first pick to the person that was the worst in the league. So
which
isn't
is
that rewarding mediocrity?
it's
The
rewarding
worst?
less than mediocrity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah,
Well, we've already established that guy's kind of stupid. Um. I'm not a fan of his. So.
yeah.
Um.
Y'all clashed like yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no, he ain't the sharpest tool in the shed for sure. I'll
No.
be the first to tell you that. He seemed like he's stoned all the time.
Yeah. I don't think there's a seam part of that. I think he is stoned all the fucking time. Um. But for people that didn't know, and this is Jermaine's baby here. He had this great idea, and I was like, "Yep, absolutely."
Make
So
people play for the consies. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
so how it's gonna work is, you play through the consies, and if you end up winning it, then you get the first pick. Second place, second, and so on and so forth. Because then that way, it's not one you can't tank. You just can't tank and get the first first pick. That's not how this is going to work. You
Mhm.
actually have to you put in the effort and you get rewarded. And if no one else pays attention, well, guess what? You just stumble fucked your way into a first round, like a first overall pick. So hey, cool.
Yeah, like if you're the last place player in the consies, you're basically picking 6. So yeah. Mhm.
Right. So it doesn't pay to not pay attention.
Well, no. It's only a 10-team league. How many people was in? How many people get in?
I believe it's 6.
Oh, okay. So it's only going to be 4 people in the consies then. That's crazy. That's only going to be 2 games then. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. So another thing I would say for commissions to kind of get into bed with is the idea of getting out your invites kind of now. See who's coming back. Kind of get that plan set up so you're not doing any scrambling. You can kind of get the feel of what the league's going to look like, and then that way.
No, I got like an email from. It was like, your commissioner wants to know if you're returning next year or some shit. I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I even put that in there. I was like, even if some people have already responded, I'm just going to send this out as a formal thing because I want to have something to kind of revert back to look at, so I can say, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, yada yada. Here's where they placed, all that, just to kind of get my ducks in a row. Because you know how hard it is for us to maintain this thing because we got turnover like this is Dollar General. So,
but then the thing that cracks me up is when it rains, it pours, and when you're starving, you ain't getting shit. So I remember when we had 12 people in, and people was banging down the door and upset they couldn't get in, and so I mean that's just funny to me. It's like one year we go from people mad at us they can't get in to we're begging people to come in. And it's like what?
I think Vince will come back next year because he said he just needed a year off to kind of get his mind right, and I really love Vince being in the league.
Them names he come off with be just they be so vulgar, but it'd be so funny every time you see it. It'd be like, "Mommy's come" or some shit.
Yeah.
It'd be like, what?
Daddy loves mommy's sweet pussy. It's like, oh god, Vince. Yeah, but I guess the big news of the day is Jonathan Taylor.
You was just talking about, oh man, I ain't trying to wish nobody to get hurt, but if something, and here he is. I'm mad about the other league I was in where I had Zach Moss for like a quick, I did the same thing. I picked him up, but then I was just like, I think the buys or something. When Philly was on the bye or something like that, I had to drop him because I had to sit down Hurts, Brown, and Philly's defense. I ain't had no room. I had to drop him. Yeah. But there you go. You got another starting back in the reins. How about Sherwin Williams? God damn. This dude, where did this dude come from? I mean, it's like him and Puka Nacua both playing on the Rams are like the most surprising players I've never heard of before this year. It's like, damn, man, they're just like massively productive.
Well, and what else happened? I mean, we called or I called this. Guess who blew up?
Yeah. Yep. And I made sure in the other league I had him in, I was like, I was betting against myself pretty much. I was just like, well, whoever you got, I know they're going to go to fuck off. So I might as well get something out of them in another league. And sure enough, I played Gabe, and I went off. I was the top scorer in that league. And what's the name in Brandon's 2 leagues? Top scorer in both of those leagues. For some reason, I blew the hell up, but it didn't mean shit. But I beat some of the best teams. Like the one team I beat was like, I think it was the second best team, and then the other team, it was like the 4th best team or something like that. I know they was sitting there pissed, like, how the fuck did sorry motherfucker beat me? I don't know. My team went off. Everybody went crazy. The same league I had Gabe the Babe in, I had Kerwin Williams too. Went fucking ham sandwich.
Hold
And
on,
Josh Allen.
hold on.
Josh
Who'd you
Allen
have?
fucking threw like 2 touchdowns, but ran 2 touchdowns. Yeah, my team.
Wait. Who's the running back you had?
Kerwin Williams. Kyron
Who?
Williams.
Who?
Sherwin Williams.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought you said. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Disrespect his name. Yeah, he. You talk, and that's it. So I think the biggest thing for him is he had that bye week in his kind of injury kind of designation timeline. So he had an extra week
so
to
he
get
had
healthy.
another week. So he had 4 weeks of IR and the bye week.
Yeah,
So
right.
he came back like he was week 1 and shit.
And he sure as hell he picked up right where he left off too. I'm like, holy shit, this dude's a league winner. Looked great.
I was watching as he was playing. His shirt, like all the rest of the Rams shirts, was like still like a dingy cream color. His shit was dirty. Like, I mean, he was running his ass the fuck off.
So it's interesting though. What I find really interesting about that squad is they waived Henderson, then they brought him back on the practice squad, but they kept Freeman up there, and I just find that interesting. I kind of thought
some of Freeman runs. I mean, Freeman looked like he was running pretty hard. I mean, he was like not going down at first contact. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of feel a little bit like, but Henderson kind of got you out of a bind. Like when you needed this to happen, you got him off his couch, and he's like, "All right, Captain, let's go," and he just did his thing. And then it's like, oh, okay, then we're gonna play this like roster thing. We're gonna take you back to the practice squad to bring you up for the roster stuff and yada yada. And
so you think you think the team should owe him some loyalty or some shit?
A little bit, man. Like a little bit. It feels dirty. And I get it's a dirty business, but it feels a little.
Yeah, I'm about to say, they don't give a fuck. We make millions. We'll fucking use you like a condom and then fucking throw you down when we're done. I mean, that's just, they have the right to do that. It's the NFL. It's a fucking productive money-making machine that don't give a fuck about nobody. I mean, it's the most popular sport in the world. I mean, it's like,
yeah, I don't know. I guess
nobody gets the attention and the like. I was just thinking that yesterday. I was doing my laundry and shit, and I'm like watching people and walking around, and this is in Steeler country. Steeler game is over, like, but I'm hearing people talking and, yeah, man, you gonna watch that game tonight? And I'm like, I don't know no other sport where, people are just I mean, and it's Chicago and Minnesota. Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? But everybody gives a fuck because it's
clearly they didn't.
Huh?
Clearly the teams didn't.
Yeah, I know. It's just clearly like the hottest thing on. Like it's the hottest. Yeah. It's the greatest show in town.
How much do you think How much of that do you think is fantasy based?
I want to say 80% of it now. I mean, who else? Why else would you? I mean, there's been some Monday night or primetime games that I used to watch before fantasy, but it would have to be a big matchup. It's sort of like how I watch college. Like it would have to be two. No, I can't compare college because even 2 great matchups in college, like that of Michigan-Ohio State game, I didn't even watch that shit. And it was like 2 versus 3 or something like that. So no, I can't compare to college. But
no, but I get what you're saying. Like you're gonna watch the marquee matchup if it's not your squad.
Yeah, but if it's not, you don't really care. But when the fantasy got involved, if you got skin in that game, you watching it. Or chances are, if you don't got skin in the game, your opponent do. So now you got to watch it to see how much damage is going to get done to you. Yeah.
I did not watch last night's game. I just heard a lot about it. I'm like, oof.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, I ain't going to even say I watched it from beginning to end because I was doing my laundry. So I just kept looking at the score and I'm like, damn. Yeah. And then I got to like halfway through the second quarter and I'm like, it's still only 3-0? The fuck is going on there? Sure
It's
enough, I looked.
almost good that you were. Yeah, it's kind of almost good that you were completely out of it at that point. Like if you needed
Oh
stuff
yeah,
to
yeah.
happen,
Like if I was like really depending on Hawkinson, he didn't even get a catch to like the second half. It's like, damn.
I went outside and I was like, I thought my phone wasn't updating. I'm like, my Wi-Fi fucked up. And it was like,
that's a damn shame. You think your phone ain't updating? That's how bad the scoring is.
well, Yahoo has done that to us before, so I mean, I'm like, okay. So another question I have, what the fuck is up with Eckler?
Whoa.
Like from a personal standpoint, I am very concerned.
I mean, I understand it was Baltimore, but usually Eckler's matchup proof. So, what happened? What has he been doing the past couple weeks? I don't know.
Not much. I mean, yeah. So here, let's look at his stat line here because it's not exciting, man. And it's getting
concerning.
I'm not by any. Yeah, I'm not in any place where I'm like, oh, I may have to sit him, but I'm like,
you just picked up another starter in fucking Moss, so you could sit him down and shit.
Yeah, how's that gonna look? So only 11 points last game, but that was 32 rush yards, 32 reception yards, and a fumble. The week before, that was against Green Bay. Fucking 8 points. He had 64 rush yards and 2 catches for 6. Detroit, 67, 48 catching, a tutty. And the other one was.
Remember, I told you that shit about the Chargers. I mean, they're perennial fucking losers, man. And now it's like all the wheels just starting to fall off. Like you used to could depend on 4 wheels. Mainly, it would be Herbert, Allen, Eckler, and either Williams or another receiver, Palmer or something.
Yeah.
Now those wheels are falling off. It's the only person you can depend on now is Keenan Allen. Shit.
I get. Well, you know what? Now that I'm saying it out loud, and you put that point out there, I'm wondering how much this is going to change because Palmer should be coming back either next week or the week after.
Yeah, they said something about he's able to come off IR this week. So
yeah,
that's probably a way.
I have him as well.
No.
Actually
you had him sitting on IR, right?
Yeah.
You never let go or nothing. Okay.
No, I traded for him, and then 2 days later he got fucking put on IR.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm wondering if that's going to help because Eckler is this. You're right. He was always kind of matchup proof. Couldn't really, but now like even you hear like 26 points. And it's like that's what he was projected to get. That's not what he does. He vastly exceeds his projection. That's why he gets drafted in the first round. Yeah. So it's just I don't know. I think the whole year's had a bad taste in my mouth, and then seeing 2 kind of lackluster games in a row, it's like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, I get it, matchups, whatever, but you put up 23 against the Jets, so it's like, I feel like the Jets aren't that much worse defensively than Baltimore.
No,
but yeah, I am.
Great defense.
Yeah. So, like, I can't say that.
I think that
you did it multiple ways.
I think that also that a lot of times here lately, the Chargers have been getting outscored really quickly, and it kind of takes Eckler's shit out the game to the point where Herbert is back there chucking it damn near every play, but they don't got nobody to chuck it to besides Allen. It's like. Okay,
but you know what though? Like Eckler, that's where he made his money. Like he never really was like a super rusher. He was always like screen or little just dump off in the flat, and I'm going to go for 35.
If the way he plays is obvious enough to you, what do you think it is? The defensive coordinators.
Yeah,
and
but you know what?
They know how.
But he did it for years.
They want to attack.
But he did it for years though. Like. What changed? I mean, is he?
Well, I mean, the other defenses had to back up because there were other weapons to be afraid of. There
That's
is
fair.
nothing back there to be afraid of. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're going to try to beat us with Eckler. And that's all you got. We're going to take him. We're going to Bill Belichick that motherfucker, take him out of the game, and force you to beat us with those motherfucking C, D, E, and F type of receivers.
Yeah.
And they ain't doing
it. I mean, Quentin Johnson can't be fucking trusted. That dude is like
that dude is terrible. I mean, remember we talked about the keys to the car? They gave him the keys to every car in the damn garage, and the motherfucker broke them all. He hit everything. That dude he cannot produce. I don't understand it.
Yeah, they desperately need Palmer back, and he's gonna get peppered, and I hope he's okay. Not just for me, but just for like that team itself. It's like you guys are much better than what you're showing. Like
what you're putting out there, on tape.
Because it's such a weird. You know what it is? It's like the inverse of the Steelers. It's like this team is so bad, but they're winning, and this team is built so good, but they're losing. So it's like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. This team is so good, but they continue to lose. And the Steelers are so bad, but they continue to win. It's crazy, yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on that? So, I feel encouraged. I mean, I feel like, okay, this is interesting. And it's funny because then I'm starting to see all these people like, I'm seeing all the people that are saying Josh Dobbs is better, than Kenny. They're all quiet now. It's like Josh Dobbs is much better than Kenny Pickett, first of all.
Oh, absolutely. He threw 4 picks last night. That was it. I mean, there were some dumb decisions. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of times, the quarterback gets blamed for picks. Sometimes they're just slips off receiver's fingers and then it gets picked off, but it looks like it's the quarterback. So I want to say 2 of them were just totally boneheaded moves by Josh, and then 2 of them was like a receiver that just didn't catch it, or tipped it up, or he got tipped as he was throwing it, or something shit like that.
It was just funny hearing or seeing that. I'm like, seriously, people, like he had one good game. Settle. And he had one good game against a backup quarterback led team.
Oh, you're talking about the Pickett lovers. I thought you was talking about that people were hating on Josh Dobbs.
Well, people were saying that there was I'm seeing people saying, I guess they're comparing Dobbs to Pickett, and people were saying Dobbs is better, but I guess now people are like, oh, no one's saying it now. It's like, I don't think they have to. Like, what else is there to say?
Like, Pickett looked at the middle bit better because he discovered the middle of the field, and he discovered that you got a tight end named Pratt Fryermuth, but you still only scored 16 points. Don't fucking get all crazy like we fucking lit up the scoreboard and dropped 45. It was the same shit, just a few more yards involved. He still scored 16 fucking points. You play any team with a semi fucking decent offense, you fucking lose. So don't annoy Kenny Pickett like he fucking turned into CJ Stroud overnight.
and it's funny though too, because it's like, okay, you got 400 yards that game. Cool. How did you only score 16 points?
Absolutely.
Like that seems like a difficult thing to do. I mean, first of all, Boswell's the absolute MVP of this team. Absolute MVP of this team.
Yeah, that is hard to do. Like, how do you put up that many yards and only come away with 16 points? Like you said, it's almost like you're trying to not score. I don't know. Yeah. Well, that one was a fumble. Like they were pretty much on like the 20, maybe even the 15, getting ready to go in, and then Jaylen Warren fumbled. The one where the controversial, what's his name? Deontay Johnson wasn't even looking, and he turned around and shit like that. Yeah, because they were supposed to score. Well, Deontay Johnson did score the play before that, but they said that he didn't get the feet down, or no, they said he didn't complete the catch. But That's what cracks me up. Tomlin challenges the dumbest shit in the world, but he didn't challenge that play. Like, what? Yeah. So they was supposed to score on that one. So that ended up being a turnover. So that's a bunch of yards that went for naught. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he still literally has six touchdowns and 4 picks this year. Like it's week 13.
It's high school numbers, man.
No, it's not high school. They light that shit up.
I'm just saying. Like, I mean, well, going to like my high school,
do you know?
All they did was run. Like they barely threw it. Every once in a blue moon they would throw it, but most of the time it was run, and run some more. Like it was. So for a high school quarterback at Aliquippa, 6 touchdowns and 4 fucking interceptions is.
All right, let me ask you this. So, because I know the number to this, but through 12 games, well, no, actually 11 games played, because the bye week and all that. So through 11 games played, how many yards do you think he has?
You said 11 games played?
Yeah, because the bye week, so he's only played 11 yet.
Top tier quarterbacks, they usually throw for about 4,000 yards per season. So at this point in the season, a semi-decent quarterback should have maybe 3,000 yards. What does he have? Even 1,200? Does he even got over 1,000? Shit.
What's your actual guess?
11 games. He's got to have at least 2,000 yards.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's actually pretty crazy. That's the exact number he has. He has exactly 2,000 yards.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the games. You got to understand. That's why I estimated properly, because you don't watch them. You don't give a fuck. I watch the games. I know how much he's dropping, like $170 a game, maybe even $150 some games. So he's not putting up the yards. So thinking 11 games, couple games with 200. Like I said, a good quarterback is usually per season dropping 4,000, maybe 5,000. 5,000 is like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees.
Yeah,
that
right.
Shit. 4,000 is probably average. And I'm sitting up here thinking middle season is 17 games, so 8 or 9 games. By the 8th or 9th game, he should have been.
Stroud has.
He should have been at 2,000 yards by the 8th or 9th game. We're talking about 11 games, so that's why I kind of said, okay, if he ain't got 2,000 by 11 games, god damn it.
Yeah. We're going to look up, just for giggles here. Okay. What do you think CJ Stroud has right now?
Stroud, 11 games. Stroud's been throwing for like 300 and 400 yards per contest. Stroud might be at he might be at 3,000 maybe right now, or 3,200 or some shit.
You're a fucking guru. Shut the fuck up. 3266.
Huh?
3266.
Dang, I'm nosing it, yo. Yeah. Stroud is hitting him.
But anyway, the whole point behind this was, we'll kind of see. It looks encouraging. Hey, I mean, seemingly Canada definitely was a problem. But
the biggest difference that I see is, like I said, the only big difference I seen was the utilization of the middle of the field. And discovering Freiermuth and discovering some receivers in the middle of the field. I don't know if Canada had some type of allergic reaction to the middle of the field, or did they call any of those jet sweeps? I'm trying to think. See, I'm asking you, and you don't even watch.
Right.
I don't think I've seen those.
Well,
I don't understand a wasted play on a fucking stupid jet, not a jet sweep. What do you call those wide receiver screens? What do you call it?
Bubble screens.
Yeah, those like dumb shits. I didn't see none of those, so that changed. Najee Harris looked a little bit more productive because instead of calling Hut and handing it straight to him, they had him like line up in a single back set, like pretty far back, like 8 yards deep. And I guess I don't know if that's a way to help him somehow pick a better hole. So he looked better. And then, it's hard for me to say Najee Harris looked better. And then the exact opposite. Jaylen Warren looked terrible. I don't know what that was about. Jaylen Warren looked terrible and Najee Harris looked good. That was weird.
Well, it's a game of parody, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, it gives me hope. It makes me actually want to pay attention to them.
Remember how we talked about backups? They look good when they're the backup, but when they get the starting role, they falter. A lot of people were saying after that game that they was game planning for Jaylen Warren. So they start treating Jaylen Warren like the weapon to stop, and he looked terrible when they game planned for him. He was no longer a surprise that came off the bench. It seemed like Najee was more of the surprise. So,
Oh, he's also proven that in the past, though, too. He tends not to really show up, but it's kind of one of those, like, well, let's see if this year's different, and seemingly probably not. But hey, whatever. It's a win. It's a positive step. We'll see. All right. So, anything else interesting this week that kind of sticks out?
Administrative, like you see the Carolina coach got fired, and it's like,
yeah,
you didn't even give him a year. Like, what did you? I think because of their stupid organization didn't choose C.J. Stroud, and they looking at how great, because they could have chose him, but they chose the Bryce Young guy. How do you blame the coach for that? That ain't his fault that y'all made the wrong decision on the wrong quarterback. I mean, like, didn't y'all all come together and sit in the office and make that decision? He has to take the fall for that.
Well, what I heard is I guess they didn't really like what they saw on the field in a whole, which, I don't know, I feel like the running game looks fine.
Your number one receiver is fucking Adam Thielen. What?
Yeah.
You didn't go out and trade. Like, you had plenty of time before the trade deadline to put some money on the line and some draft picks or whatever the fuck you had to do to secure a Jerry fucking Judy, who's trash, but he was one of the shop candidates. I mean, there were plenty of receivers out there that were disgruntled, and then you didn't make an attempt to get none of them. There's plenty of running backs sitting on the street. Ain't Fournette? No, Fournette went to the Bills, but he still dead somehow. He didn't even suit up, but he was out there.
Darrell Henderson.
Back, sitting there on the couch still. I mean, you could have traded for Dalvin Cook, who wanted to get the hell out of there. You stayed with Chuba Hubbard and fucking Miles Sanders. Like, you didn't surround him with any talent. But I guess if you see, I guess you say, is those receivers that talented in Houston? Probably not. So Stroud does make them look better because Noah Brown wasn't shit in Dallas. He's all of a sudden that dude.
Nico and Tank are kind of the truth, though.
Well, Tank is definitely the truth. Nico, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how long Nico's been in the league, but I don't recall him being productive before Stroud got there. Yeah, he wasn't shit. No. He hasn't elevated Robert Woods. Tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, Dalton Schultz is a super trustworthy.
Yeah. But Dalton Schultz was decent in Dallas.
Like Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's he's like a rookie
Oh,
quarterback's
so he
best
said
friend.
he
He's like,
surrounded him with, yeah, they went out and got a good, decent tight end. They stopped fucking with, those Brevin Jordans and whoever the hell else they had out there. They actually went out and got a bona fide,
star. Stud.
a tight end,
I would call Schultz a stud.
Established, an established tight end. Yeah. But my thing is, you didn't do anything to put anything around him. I mean, You're saying that you're mad with what happened on the field. I don't know how good the offensive line is.
What are you supposed to do with that? It's like you can't make chicken salad, or chicken shit, man. If you don't have the ingredients, like what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, the new owner, I don't know how long he's been there, but he's already fired 3 coaches. He fired Ron Rivera, he fired Matt Rule, and he just fired Frank Reich, not even after 1 year. What fucking coach in their right mind's going to want to come there? It's like,
you know what team this reminds me of, right?
Who's doing it? Who was firing like crazy every year?
Come on.
Redskins.
No,
hold on. Who fired?
Come on.
Every year they were firing. Cleveland?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have a short leash and pull the plug. Like, I understand this is a win now, type of business. College, I guess they give them like 3 or 4 years to give them time for their recruits to come in that they bring in. So NFL, you got to give somebody at least 3 years, unless they're some fucking, what's the one, the Urban Meyer? Unless they doing some Urban Meyer shit where they partying with bitches and fucking they're all over the cameras and doing dumb shit. You gotta give them at least 3 years, man. That 1 year, that one
you
gotta establish
you gotta establish your fucking your
culture. You gotta your stamp, your signature, something. Like 1 year.
This is also why those teams aren't successful. That's dead. It's kind of you can't be win now.
I don't think you have to go as far as the Steelers, who they only hire one coach every every decade. I mean, every 2 decades. I mean, you ain't got
a sweet spot. Huh? There's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot. It's you don't have to rush the process, and then you give it some time to simmer. And if you don't see this panning out, then you move on. But you have to give it time to see it actually establish something. You can't draft a rookie quarterback. I don't care how great he is or great he was or whatever.
Peyton Manning was 3-13 his first year. This is Peyton fucking Manning. I mean, like, can you imagine if they fired Tony Dungy after 1 year because Peyton Manning was 3-13? I mean, they didn't even wait the whole year. That's just too impatient for me. That's goofy shit. Like,
it is.
Really? You didn't even give this man 1 off season to bring in nobody to work with nobody? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was goofy. But yeah, besides that, anything else crazy? That Bills-Eagles game was one of the best games of the year.
That was fun.
Yeah. The Bills looked like we come to play. Like the Bills looked at like 2 years ago Bills.
Right.
And I ain't gonna say highly upset, but I was pretty upset that they lost that game. I wanted them to beat Philly really bad. And
it was one of those things where they didn't deserve that loss again. It's like,
it was just like, okay, if anybody can give up if anybody can sacrifice a loss and still be okay, it was Philly. And anybody that needed that win more to turn their season into a more winning season, it was Buffalo. And Buffalo played their ass off and they still lost. It was just a little, I ain't gonna say I felt sorry, but it was just a little crushing, like, damn. And you could just see it all over Josh Allen's face, like, I played my ass off and we still lost.
Buffalo needs to spend up. Buffalo needs to spend up this offseason and bring in a big name to catch balls.
They don't balls. No. That's what I didn't understand during the off season, and that's why I think they were saying that Diggs was upset because DeAndre Hopkins was floating around like a fucking bird in the sewer. The motherfucker was floating in the water, waiting
Do
on
you really want
somebody.
to have two divas there, though? That feels like too
You
much
need,
fucking
I mean,
ego.
both divas need each other to take the pressure off of each other. You
Yeah, I
can't
get it.
double and triple. If I'm Diggs, I'm like, man, I don't want no big head personality in here. But then after a while, I'm gonna be like, well, he taking the pressure off of me, and he allows me to get open. And then Hawks is saying the same thing, like they gotta watch him, so maybe I can shine. So they gotta realize it's a mutual benefit to each
Yeah, but they're athletes, so they don't fucking think that way. They're idiots.
other. So what are
But
you talking
yeah,
about? Bring in an who? Like I'm talking about another wide receiver. I mean, that's why the
I mean,
Eagles.
I wouldn't have went like archaic with Hop, but like I don't know what else was
Well, he was the only
available.
one that was like. I mean,
Yeah,
who else was out there that was like?
I'm not sure. Like that. That's kind of. I mean, if he was. Yeah, I
He
don't
was the
know.
only one that was like floating out there. That was a big surprise, big name. Anybody else that was like you're not stealing? Fuck. Who else? Who's some receivers that was with another team last year that went
That's what
to
I'm
a
trying to
team?
think of. Yeah, like who got on different squads this year? I don't know.
Yeah. Beckham, don't nobody didn't know. I wouldn't brought his
Oh,
sorry ass
yeah,
in.
like everyone. Yeah, I'm saying like everyone you're naming is like 33 and above.
Yeah, like Beckham, and then the Steelers got Allen Robinson. I wouldn't have brought his old ass in. Um, the Browns got Elijah Moore or something. Wouldn't have brought him. I'm just going through the divisions just to think about it. Cincinnati didn't bring nobody in. Um,
Mm-mm.
okay, so we go to the Dolphins. They didn't bring nobody in. Of course, we already talked about the Bills. They didn't bring nobody in. Um, Patriots, would you have brought in Juju Smith-Schuster? Fuck him. Um, the Jets, would you have brought in Alan Lazard? What the fuck? That ain't nothing.
Hmm.
Wasn't really no big name receivers out there. I'm trying to think. Okay,
Yeah,
so
no, you're right.
now we're talking about the East, and then let's talk about the South. Was there Jaguars? Did they bring anybody in? Nope.
No.
Colts, they didn't bring nobody in.
Mm-mm.
The Texans, Robert Bobby Trees. I mean, just brought in Bobby Trees with it. I didn't know big. And then Bobby
No,
Trees
it's
already
just.
played for Buffalo. He started in Buffalo, so you wouldn't have put him
Oh, I
there like
forgot all
that.
about that.
Yeah, before he went to the Rams. Yep, he was with Buffalo. Uh, so I said Houston, Tennessee. They the one that brought in Hop. And then we're gonna go what? We went AFC North. We went East. Then we go West. AFC West. Oh, the Chiefs. They brought in. Who did they bring in? They seemed like they brought in the same people they let go, and then they brought them back.
Yeah.
uh, the Raiders. I mean, Devontae was already there. They didn't bring him in. Um, Chargers. They didn't bring nobody in.
Nope.
And then Jacoby Myers. The Raiders brought in Jacoby Myers, maybe. But did
It's
you
sad.
see?
He's like the only one that
I mean,
doesn't
like,
have an AARP card.
yeah, Jacoby Myers is probably the only one I know that was out there. Um, you go to the NFC. Let's start with the Eagles division. You're not bringing in Julio Jones. Sorry, ass. You're not bringing in Dallas. Brandon Cooks. Mm,
Isn't he like 90 years old? 90 years
Yeah,
old
he's
too?
older too. Yeah. The Giants, did they bring anybody in? They brought in nobody.
Yeah, they didn't bring anybody.
No. And the Redskins, did they bring in anybody?
No.
No.
Their
Mm-mm.
biggest name was Dotson. He was drafted. So
Yeah. Okay, we go to NFC. NFC North. Chicago. DJ Moore.
oh yeah.
Mm. That could have
How
been a
sad we always
Buffalo.
forget about that fucking guy. That poor fucking fella.
DJ Moore. Yeah, that was a big free agent name.
Literally the misfit toy.
DJ Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore in Buffalo. That could have took some heat off of what's his name? You got to watch
That
DJ.
would have
And
been
DJ
fun
Moore
because he's
doesn't
a
even
fucking
seem like a
burner.
diva type. He seemed like he can get along and play nice, so to speak.
Dude, he would just be so happy to be on an actual team with a quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh shit. It wouldn't
DJ
matter what
Moore.
happened. He would just shut up and go.
Yeah. He'd have been like, man, hey man, I'm fine. They'd have been like, you cool with this? He'd be like, yep, I'm good. Yeah. So that's the Bears. Green Bay, they didn't bring nobody in. They got a bunch of people out there. Um, Detroit, did they bring anybody in? No, Detroit is kind of home product.
Yeah.
Um, so let's go to the South. Did the Saints bring anybody in? No.
No.
Falcons
No.
bring anybody in?
Mm,
Mac
No.
Home.
They anyway.
I love that motherfucker from last year.
Sure do.
Uh, so we did the Falcons, the Saints. Who else is in
Colts.
that South?
Not the Colts.
No, Tampa Bay. Did they bring anybody in? No.
No.
Tampa Bay didn't bring nobody in. No. So it's Tampa, Saints, Falcons, and who else is in that goddamn division? Saints, Falcons, Bucks. Damn. I forgot who the fuck is in that division? They must be shitty as hell if I can't think of them. The Saints, the Falcons, the Buccaneers. Get the fuck out of here. I could not think. Well, I'm gonna go to the West. The Rams, they bring anybody in? Nope.
Nope.
Seattle bring anybody in?
Nope.
Nope. They drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arizona bring anybody in? No.
No.
49ers bring anybody in? No.
No.
Okay. Man, who is that last team in the South? That is crazy. Saints, the Falcons, the Buccaneers.
Vikings.
No, they was in the North. Holy
Raiders.
no. NFC South. Oh my God. It's got to be a team down south. I don't think
All
about
right,
it.
hold on here.
Tampa Bay.
Panthers.
Panthers, Carolina. God damn.
Okay.
They brought in Thielen,
Yeah.
who's 90 years old, and that's it. Yeah, so DJ Moore or Jacoby Myers and Hop. Those are the only people that was out there. Buffalo could have grabbed those people.
Yeah. I don't know what their cap situation is though, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
well, speaking of something we didn't talk about yet, but let's see here. All right. So the bye weeks. We
Ooh,
got
yeah.
it's Bamageddon here
Buffalo.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely Buffalo. I know I got a whole bunch of spots to fill.
Buffalo, the Ravens, the Vikings, Bears, Raiders, and Giants.
Damn. No, but don't nobody
Yeah.
care about
So,
the Giants, except
so
for
real
the
quick,
people that got
let's
Barkley.
yeah. So let's just quickly talk about this and how dumb it is. The NFL really has to adjust how they do buys because this season has been fucking dumb. Like you had what 2 or 3 weeks with no buys, and then like 2 or 3 with six. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like that's just
It's just like, why would you take that many games away in one
right,
week? Yeah.
right. And look, the NFL can play. I mean, pun intended. They can play that they don't care about fantasy, but that brings so much money into them because do you
Oh, they
think people are like Thursday's game this week is Thursday against Thursday, dumbass. Seattle, yeah, it's Thursday against the day. It's
it's the best.
Seattle. It's Seattle at Dallas.
Yeah.
Um, on paper,
Sounds good.
not yeah. But do you think the nation is going to be tuning into that game because they really want to watch those two teams? I don't think so.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, the fan
I
bases
mean, it's
of
probably
those teams, as far as, the cities where those teams play, yeah, they're going to tune in. And somebody that may say, oh, this is the 5 seed versus the 6 seed as far as the playoff race, they're going to tune in because they think it's a decent matchup. But
I mean, now with that being said, it's probably
75%
not.
of the people that's tuning in got skin in that game because both those teams have some
Yeah,
great fantasy players.
and let's be honest, it's probably not the best example because we've had much worse matchups. But that's just the segue to the matchup talk. But still, like they can't like stop pretending that fantasy doesn't matter. That's because it
Like I
does.
said,
It
they
brings
know.
you
I mean,
ratings.
I watch the NFL Network all day, pretty much. It's what's running on my TV pretty much all day. And
Yeah,
they got like at least 2 or 3 shows that's dedicated to fantasy football and the outcomes of it. And this is the
right.
NFL Network. So they definitely know it is a very important thing that drives them forward. I mean, why do
It
you think the coaches address it on press conference? If it was like a Geek Squad fucking Dungeons and Dragon games that only geeks play over in the corner, nobody would even talk about it. But the coaches know, everyone knows. I don't want to impress your fantasy roster. It's fucking a huge event. I don't know how you
yeah.
play fantasy in any of those other sports. I mean, you've done what? Have you done baseball or some shit?
I've done baseball and I've done hockey.
I don't know how you. I mean, is it exciting?
Yeah.
It is.
So the baseball one is literally a full-time job. It is exhausting. Hockey's fun. Hockey is fun because how it works is you set your lineup for the week and you know you kind of based on kind of you're basically there's like 14 stat categories and how you win it goes by goals, assists, plus minus, a whole bunch of stats. And how you basically win is if you have more points in that stat category, you get a point. And you know, it just kind of goes like that and you have a running tally and yeah. So it's a different build, but it's definitely fun.
So you still
But yeah,
got head to head with an opponent every week?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I just the schedulers really gotta fucking coordinate this better next year because it's ugly. It's ugly. Like I I get it. you need breaks whenever there are other things that go on in these arenas and what have you.
Got
Okay.
anything to do with breaks. I think it's I think it's a scheme designed to make you want their product more. So it's here's some crack. Let me take it away from you for a week and then give it back to you and see how you feel.
But they
Just
don't need to though. Like that's the thing. Like your
well,
crack
I
is
mean, how
really
many
your crack
times?
is really
I don't
good.
know if
I
you.
like your crack.
I mean, I don't know if you play like games on your phone or something like that, but how many advertisements have you seen for certain apps that are already popular that almost everybody already got? They're still
Yeah.
advertising like people don't got it, and it's like when I see like little Facebook ads, TikToks, and Instagram commercials, I'm like, well, not commercials, but like little commercials on my game. I'm like, everybody got it. What you greedy
Yeah.
motherfucker? Like, why are you advertising? Yeah.
That's a good point. Fair enough. It's
Yeah.
you don't want to become irrelevant. You want I mean, out of sight, out of mind type
It's
deal.
almost like sometimes it's almost a flex. It ain't even like, hey, we're trying to, ask you to sign up. Sometimes it's motherfucker. Let me show you who the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the room. And sometimes you got to lift your chest up and just show people that, hey, I'm the bad motherfucker here. Like whose wallet is that? It's the one that says bad motherfucker on it.
Nice.
I mean,
nice reference.
I mean, sometimes you gotta just remind people that you the man. So sometimes,
Fair enough.
hey,
I dig it, but still, like, just don't do this shit. Like, if you had 1 week where you had no buys, okay, or 1 week where you had 6 because there was some crazy
see, I don't
scheduling
recall it
event,
ever really being like they just started this crazy shit. Because I remember
right?
it would go. They would start in week 4, and it would be like 2 and 3, like 3 a week. Like, and it would go play out through the whole season. They start, tampering with the buys just to make it more dramatic. Really have.
And all it's done is piss everybody off. It's like, good job. So maybe this is a one-off. Maybe they're like, we want to try something new, see how it went, and everyone's like, fuck you. What? No. Bad.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway,
like,
let's get
the bye weeks, okay, they wouldn't even hear any flack about the buys. If there was no fantasy, you think I give a fuck who's playing and who's not? The bye weeks only cater to fantasy players because they have to deal with the madness behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's once again proving the point of like
it's a scramble fuck. It's like, whoa, we got to do all this shit, and it seemed like
which it's exciting to a degree,
huh?
Which I mean, it's exciting to a degree because you're like, all right, I gotta fucking make some moves.
It's shaking people up, and it's like, how are you going to react when the earthquake hits? You're like, earthquake, get down! Either that, or you just gonna be like, all right, I'm cool. Like it's almost like
kind of crazy though. I'm not even being affected by this Bimageddon at all. I have zero effect to me.
You don't got no bill. Well, you got Gabe.
No, I mean, I
mean, you got players sitting there locked and loaded and ready to go. But yeah, if you were in these traditional leagues, I mean, the thing that gets me about both of these Bimageddons is they make sure it's at least 2 good ass teams that got a lot of fantasy players on them. And this Bimageddon it's pretty much Philly and not Philly. It's Buffalo and who'd you say, the Ravens?
Yeah.
Who people got a lot of people going. I think the last time.
It kind of feels shitty having this late in the year, though. It's a little like, dude, really? Ugh. Like, not
especially
like right when I'm trying to
hour weeks. I told you these 2 witching hour. You should have it Bimageddon at this late. Week 13. There is a whole bunch of squads out there that was like they knew that they need to get in, and they're gonna lose off the simple fact that they don't have a player capable to replace the player on the bye, and they're gonna miss the playoffs because of this fucking bye. That's crazy.
It's gross.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about Thursday and get the hell out of here. So Seattle at the Cowboys. Like we said, kind of on paper, sounds like it should be good. Depends on what version of Geno shows up.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. It all depends on Geno Smith, which one is going to show up.
But I don't even think it's going to matter because Dallas's D is I don't know, man. Like I don't want to, healthy or not, I don't really want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to sit anybody, but I mean, as a JSN owner, I'm not excited about it at all. But I have the idea of, okay, well, maybe he'll slide past because he's not going to get all the attention. But I don't know what Geno is going to look like.
Yeah, I just think that on paper, Dallas should get out to a quick lead, and Seattle is going to have to throw it. So that eliminates the run game.
Plus, Walker's
You
so
know,
hurt.
Dallas, once you start depending on Dallas, they are a team that falls apart. Once you start saying that Dallas got them, that's when Dallas loses. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Carroll said Walker shows no improvement, no progress so far, which is never a good sign. But also, Pete Carroll just says random shit. He's like the worst coach speaking.
Oh yeah, as far as information,
yeah.
Carroll is like a true. He lies just to do it, like almost. So yeah.
So, but even with that, Charbonnet had the keys and did not look good.
He did not.
It's one of those like maybe.
But then he was against San Fran though too.
Right. Yeah, but you know what though? You know, they've. I don't know. Like, didn't Mostert go crazy on them? Not comparing the two, but I mean they have been slashed this year. It's not like they're like the 2000 Ravens and shit.
Yeah, they can be ran on, yeah.
But he just didn't look good. But also that's what hurt Geno. So those things definitely have to be attributed to, and they do go hand in hand. Well, what's the quarterback have to do with the running back? Fucking everything, retard. Stop talking. Like you can't establish the run if you can't rely on anybody to throw.
Well, if there's no threat of a pass, you can't run. So ask Saquon Barkley that. Ask any of those good running backs. If there's no threat of a pass, I don't give a fuck if you're Barry. Ask Barry Sanders. Even though he had to somehow do this dude had to create the craziest moves alive to get away from some of that shit.
Right.
So, yeah. If Barry Sanders had the threat of a passing game, that motherfucker would have been 20 times more awesome than he was.
Who was his quarterback? Fucking John Kitna?
I think like Scott Mitchell or some shit.
Who the fuck is that?
Scott Mitchell, and then I'm trying to think. I don't know if Charlie played with him. Batch played with him a little bit. He might have. I think Batch might have had a year or two with him before he retired.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's a nice little like fucking feather in your cap.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back in the day. But yeah, I was watching Barry Sanders when I couldn't appreciate how great he was because I was just too young. Like I didn't, watching football. Like grew up loving the '85 Bears. You know what I mean? Like that team, and like I didn't get it. I wish I could see Barry Sanders with my adult eyes now back then, when he was running. You're not going to appreciate it because I was too young to be able to appreciate it back when he was actually active.
Yeah. I mean, that happens. I mean, it's kind of, you almost kind of wonder what younger kids when they saw Troy play, if they could actually appreciate
And
what
they
this
were, yeah,
fucking
like, I mean, they just knew he had, Mommy, I want his hair. Like, they didn't really see what he was out there doing, how he was changing the game. Like, they didn't see
right
that. They just seen number 43, and he had this long hair, and it was coming out of his helmet, and that was cool. They wasn't watching him make the plays. They didn't care.
jumping over fucking linemen, blocking kicks and shit.
Catching interceptions with his hand, with his hand underneath. I remember that. I think it was like a Jets game or some playoff game, or against the Chargers. This dude caught the shit like the ball was on the ground, and he fucking had a couple fingers underneath it, and he had to catch an interception with like one hand underneath it. I was like, the craziest, most improbable interception. It was in the snow too. The most improbable interception I've ever seen. And after he did that shit, I mean, it's not like I wasn't already blown away and floored before that, but after that, I was just like, this dude is fucking amazing.
This man's out here picking passes off with his dick hole. Gotcha.
I mean, unbelievable, yo. And I remember that one when they played against Tennessee. Remember the smash and dash, the Lindell White and was it Chris Johnson or whatever?
Yeah.
They handed it to Chris Johnson at like towards the goal line, where he was at our goal line trying to rush.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like he was about to break it. Then Troy shot like a torpedo across the screen and stopped that dude for like a 2-yard loss and just got it like he wasn't shit. I'm like, damn. Yeah, dude is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's.
I'm glad I can appreciate that I see one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there will ever be a safety like that can do what he could do.
No. People try to say, "Oh, Ed Reed was better," and all. I say that you put him as a duo. Troy was a strong safety. Ed Reed was a free. So you can't really compare the two because, I mean, you can't just say a safety is a safety. Strong safety is primarily, watching covering the tight ends, and he's there to support the run. And it's a different type of safety, where a free safety is back there playing center field and just waiting for the passes to come his way to pick off. So they're not even in the same position.
I'm going to say this. Here's a hot take. In today's NFL, Ed Reed would not be nearly as good as he was portrayed to be, because he was just a big fucking hitter. I'm gonna lay you out. I'm gonna kill. You can't do that now. You take that away from his. You take that away from his game. He's a good coverage safety. Cool.
Yeah.
Nothing special. Sorry. Hot take.
Yeah.
Suck my dick, Baltimore.
No, I mean Ed had
for real.
Ball. He could find the ball and pick it off. I mean, if you threw it even close in his area, you was taking the risk. So I give him the interception skills. But you're right. A lot of some of the great safeties and the great players that even linebackers. A lot of the great players in the 80s and the 90s, they would be kicked out of the NFL because how soft this thing got. Like Ray Lewis couldn't really thrive in this environment.
Bill Romanowski. No.
Yeah. Oh, Bill Romanowski would have been hung. They would have put him on a cross.
One of my favorite players of all time, John Lynch. Nope. Sorry, bub.
Nope.
No chance. You would be nothing.
Yeah.
Because you can't do what
you would
did.
do it one time, and they would get fined, and they would do it again. Then they would get suspended. And then they would kick him out of the league. It was you can't do it no more.
So that's my hot take on Ed Reed. I don't.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, anyway, let's get.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, to put a stake in that, like it's a different game. People say it all the time, but it actually really is. And you pick apart the skill sets and the infamy of these certain players. I mean, Troy wasn't really. I mean, I guess Troy was a hitter, but he was more like a playmaker. He wasn't really known for like laying you out across the middle of the field. He wasn't really doing that. He was just going to make you. He was going to kill you.
He was an aggressive player. He was very alert. He was definitely a cerebral player for sure.
Yeah.
Very smart. Couldn't get too much past him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was gonna kill you at the line of scrimmage, but like he's not gonna blow you up if you do like a slant. That's just not. I mean, he'll pick that shit off. He'll jump the route, but
Yeah.
Ed Reed,
Yeah.
he's like,
he wasn't looking for the big hit. Like he made some big hit, or he made some tackles that were where he, like you said, dove over top of the line to stop you.
right.
But he was just trying to outsmart you and stop you
cerebral
from
stuff,
gaining yards. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Ed Reed, John Lynch, they were looking to blow your ass up.
Yeah.
And that's
Ryan Clark too. Ryan Clark.
God, I fucking love the Ryan Clark hotline. Let's fucking go. God damn.
Ryan Clark tried to
Ryan Clark was a
soul out your body.
Clark. Yeah, he was Yep.
He tried to take yours. If it was a cartoon and you could see their aura come up out of their body,
absolutely.
Right after you got hit by Ryan Clark, your little soul would come up out.
Dial up the Ryan Clark hotline, and that man still looks like he can play.
Yeah, yeah, on ESPN. Yep.
Pour one out,
man.
Ryan fucking Clark.
So, I mean, we don't have to. Do you want to talk about the eligibles, or do we?
No.
Like, are we talking about?
No, we already talked. So everyone knows. By the way, we're changing the format a little bit. No more talking about eligibles. Y'all know who you're starting. If you don't, then I don't go listen to a new fantasy podcast because I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
We're gonna start to kind of go over, your start sit kind of things. Like, hey, would you play this guy over this guy in this matchup, or it doesn't even have to be like for example. And I just said this off screen, but Scary Terry McLaurin has had a terrible year. Would you start in this matchup JSN against Scary Terry? I don't know. That's not necessarily the question, but that's kind of going to be the format a little bit as we go on. Let me just cover the Thursday and then the Saturday kind of previews for the rest of the games. Because honestly, and look, full disclosure, Jermaine hit me up and he's like, "Hey, look, I'm getting bored with it. It's getting boring. We're doing the same stuff. We're not really doing anything different." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. We're not. It's very much recycled stuff, and it's not because we're trying to. It just ends up being that."
Well, it's just the NFL. I mean, it's kind of like the same players that you're going to run out there. You're going to trot out there every week, and just the matchups change. But one interesting thing I want to do, or just even in this game, what is who are the top 5 players in order? So who is the number 1 fantasy producer in this game?
Dak, absolutely.
Dak?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess you got to put quarterbacks in a different category. So
so we're Dak versus
Geno. Okay.
So
Dak versus Geno, you would play Dak over Geno for sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm talking about the number 1,
the skill positions.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm CD. Absolutely CD.
CD's number 1. Yeah. All right. Who's the second? If you had all the fantasy players in this game,
okay.
Who's your top? Who would you try? You make sure.
Ooh, I like this game.
Must start.
Ooh.
So okay.
Does this come off the top of your head?
Just came just now.
I like it.
5 players in this game.
All right, I'm going CD. Pollard's on a bit of a heater, so I'm gonna go Pollard.
That's your number 2. Okay.
Number two. I'm gonna go Fergalicious too. He's gonna be number 3.
Ferg is 3. Yeah. Dang, you ain't even touching Seattle.
I'm scared of Geno's. I'm scared of him.
He ripped off 3 Cowboys, right, including Dak. He ripped off 4 Cowboys right out the gate. We know where your thoughts lie. Who's going to win this game?
Yeah. Then I would go DK, and then I would go Tyler.
That would be your 5th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because I don't have any pieces of those. The only person I have a piece of is the person I didn't mention, which is pretty fucking funny.
Oh man.
But I just, if even when Gino was healthy, the last few weeks, it's just been like, dude, this is not the Gino that I wanted that was here last year.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. He's back to New York Jets Gino. Like, cool.
Yeah.
He got the bag. Another instance, got the
New
bag
York
and shit
Jets
his
Gino.
pants.
I remember saying that. He's back to New York Jets Gino. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
He
they
must have
gave
took a
him.
trip back and visited a friend in New Jersey, and he got all of that stank back on him because he's playing like it. Yeah, my top five, same as yours. Except my order's a little different. CD, yep. Uh, you said Pollard's on the heater.
Oh, maybe a heater for what he's been doing all year. So he's
Yeah, because
finally
he
scoring
hasn't been
touchdowns
producing.
again. So
Um,
ride the wave type of deal.
I got the player, but I want to, in a perfect world, say DK second, but I guess I do got to go Pollard because if Kenneth Walker was in this game, he would be my second pick, but he's not in this game.
Yeah, right.
I guess I do got to go Pollard. Not going Fergie third, DK's third, Lockett's fourth, and then Fergie. I would go with the fifth pick because, there's no tight ends in Seattle or anything. Charbonnet, I don't really have the confidence in him.
If Gino was healthy, Fergie. If Gino was healthy, our 1 through 5 would be the exact same. But with him not, and just how just Ferguson gets a lot of attention, man.
Yeah.
Something about Dallas and tight ends, they really fucking.
Well, Dak loves his tight ends. He's always, I mean, even from Witten to Schultz to Fergie. I mean, he loves his tight end. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that game. That needs to be a bit of a mainstay here. I like that.
Yeah, the top 5 players in the game. Like if you had those 5 players, or in the order of amount of fantasy points you think they're going to score. First, we talk about the quarterback, which quarterback over which quarterback, and then skills players. Who's 1, 2,
That'll
3.
be the Thursday game. Oh damn, god damn, that sucks. We didn't do that all year. Man, that's really good.
All good, all good. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Week 13. See, you ripped off 8 straight. This motherfucker was 1-3, ripped off 8 straight, and is now 9-3.
Yeah.
You like the Denver Broncos of the shit. I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers of the shit. You the Broncos of the shit. Where you just ripping them off.
And I'm playing your cousin this week. Then I play the boy on week 14. So
I just hope my cousin don't somehow get in. Like I hate a dead player somehow playing in the playoffs. That would be just
well.
stupid.
I will say this: if there is any universe where that's happening, he will be moved down a slot. That's not happening.
Dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. You should have already known that. That was not letting that happen.
I didn't know you had the ability to pull him out of the playoffs or anything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of the demigod over here. But I mean, right now, look, I'm gonna dish him a fucking beat down this week, so that's gonna pretty much put him, toodaloo. I mean, he's an 8th. Yeah, I mean, I don't see him. Yeah, but yeah, I can definitely adjust that if need be. Not a worry. But yeah, so I will probably get a stand-in for you tomorrow. It's either going to be Bob or the wife. So we'll do the X's and O's tomorrow. Ideally we can get back on track next Wednesday, but I know you got some shit going on, so I appreciate you letting me know. Sincerely, thank you. I always appreciate the heads up. As soon as you can get it to me, it helps immensely, just so I'm able to plan accordingly. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, Saturday we'll be on here in a bit of a new format. could be more fun. Actually, get that excitement brewing again, and I don't know. Yeah, you are like I said. You brought up the good point of just not really going through the motions, but it's like not saying anything different, just different people against the other different people. So
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
actually do something.
like I
Let's
told you
do
off
what
air, it was like I felt like we were the Madden game. I know we're doing football, but we don't have to be like EA Sports and be Madden. It felt like from Madden, 2020 to 23, where we were coming out with the same game and we only changed the rosters a little bit.
Well, the one thing, and I'll end it on this. The one thing I think that we lost in the journey here is we forgot what we used to actually do, like how me and you used to actually conversate about this, and we're now just kind of being more informative instead of like we used to kind of talk about like the little hidden little players, the little sleepers, little ideas. What would you play this guy over this guy? Like we stopped doing that, and that was the whole point of this whole thing is to do what we did
it was
there.
like we were on a schedule and we was running it down and making sure we covered everything on the
Right.
schedule, So instead of just kind of improv, our biggest attribute or asset is the improvisation. So
Yeah.
when we try to put too much structure around ourselves, we kind of produces something that isn't us, and it becomes dull.
Right. I mean, we're still going to cover the games. We're not going to talk about the eligibles, but we'll talk about, hey, so this game and this game, would you play Tyler Boyd in this situation over whatever Pepsi bottle?
Yeah,
probably not, because Tyler Boyd.
We're like two players with kind of like the similar projections, and like which one you feel better at with the better matchup, and just feeling.
Right.
Yeah. Yep, that works.
And then next week on the Tuesday show, we're going to start bringing up, because we didn't do it this time because we just kind of went down a rabbit hole, but get you ready for your playoffs and stuff. But we're going to start doing, I'm going to do 3 waiver wire ads or waiver wire sweethearts in the deeper leagues, and Jermaine is going to do 3 waiver wire sweethearts in a conventional league. So, and we're going to comment on each other's things and yada yada yada. But that'll be the Tuesday format, and plus we got this new top 5 player game, which is the fucking tits. I enjoy that very much. I like that, and I'm so wishing I had a time machine because I would love to do that from the beginning of the year. But now we know for next year. There we go. Got some things. So, all right, kids. It's 12:30. I'm gonna go masturbate.
I think I'm gonna do the same thing.
Maybe we can stay on stream and like talk about football as we do
it. See how like mine is going higher than yours.
Oh God. All right, we're ending there. Goodbye.